Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. With this one, we are going to be covering everything related to the Beast Mastery Hunter and answering a very important question, which is what should you pick as a main class moving into Dragonflight? This is the biggest decision that a player is going to make with World of Warcraft, and this channel is aimed at making that decision as easy as possible for you. So do make sure to hit the subscribe button so you're making sure you're getting quality intel and able to pick something that's going to give you the most amount of satisfaction and not leaving you with regret. But now, talking about Beast Mastery Hunter specifically, this class pumps massive damage. I had a really good time with it so far on the Dragonflight beta in terms of its ability to generate momentum, switch targets. I really liked this kill command build, setting up stuns into freezing traps onto enemy healers, making swaps off defensive cooldowns, kiting and navigating the map with disengage, using our new utility. As you're going to notice, there's talents to enhance your tar trap so it roots targets. Binding shot is now going to be a stun, locking players in place for you to burst down as well. There's a lot of new and interesting combinations of previously existing abilities that didn't exist. Our spells are tuned a lot more appropriately as opposed to in Shadowlands, where we were kind of just sitting here mashing Cobra Shot for a majority of our damage. Kill command is a lot more incorporated. There's lots of talents to enhance your pet, which is really fun. Here, another example, binding shot on this monk as he was moving in for crowd control, landing a freezing trap on him, feign deathing off the lock dots, going for massive burst damage with the death chakram and finishing the target off. Really satisfying offensive gameplay. This is a class that I would recommend for a new player as well. If you're coming into World of Warcraft, you want something that's going to kind of ease you into it while still having like a little bit of a ceiling and some room to move with the way that it needs to kite and navigate and use its utility onto the battlefield. We're getting access to Survival of the Fittest, which has been enhanced quite a bit, which is going to act as like a shield wall. It's going to provide you a lot of damage reduction for a small amount of time. So timing this as other classes have their defensive cooldowns is going to be something that you definitely want to incorporate into your rotation. Some of the cons that come with this specialization are definitely defense. But I do think that it makes sense with your high offense, pushing in aggressive, mobility, moving around the map with a lot of crowd control. I think trading defense is the logical move here. If anything, it's the classes that are currently invincible that need to be brought down in terms of their power to make sense with what their kit is going to currently be. And there is a play with the Blues PvP test going on this weekend. So hopefully those things will kind of be sifted through. For me right now, I don't think Beast Mastery Hunter is in that place where, like, you can see right there, I got blasted out. I was like 10% health, feigned death, panicked for a moment, able to survive with a well-timed kind of exhilaration heal and feigned death to get a big shield with my monk's life cocoon. But you're going to need to be aware that you are a fragile specialization. You're going to bring high offense, high CC. If you like that high octane gameplay, it's going to be a good time, but you are also very delicate, which brings in some fun and danger as well to the specialization. You're also going to get access to the Sentinel Owl, which is just resonating arrow from Shadowlands, which allows you to shoot through pillars, and you can enhance this ability further to allow your teammates to also shoot attacks through pillars. So I'm really excited to try that in the future. If I get like a Destro Warlock or something on my team and the enemies are running from their Chaos Bolts, and I just get this little resonating arrow or Sentinel Owl around the corner and my Warlock can blast them through the pillar, I'm thinking that that is going to be a really good time on the Beast Mastery Hunter. Here you can see landing Binding Shot stun on the Druid, going for Death Chakrams and pumping out a ton of damage into the opposing Devastation Evoker. Kill Shot is a super satisfying ability to press, especially with the talents that enhance its critical strike effectiveness, allowing you to chunk down targets once you've got them into execute range. It really feels a lot like the old school versions of Beast Mastery Hunter that I think hardcore Beast Mastery Hunters are going to enjoy. Things like kind of like Wrath of Lich King, Beast Cleave. Style of BM Hunter, of getting into your opponent's face and kind of just rushing them down and making risky trades and risky gambles while still giving you the option for dampening strategies. If you wanted to just feign death, disengage, and avoid enemy attackers, you could definitely take that into account. I would say that Beast Mastery's damage is competing with S-tier specialization quality, the highest quality. Defense, it's probably low mid, and that's the one thing that's kind of holding it back. If you were really careful with your positioning and able to navigate around offensive cooldowns from your opponents, like here I've used my Survival of Fittest to reduce the Avenging Wrath damage of the Ret Paladin while going after the opposing Resto Druid, but here comes a huge blast of damage. We're going to immediately pop our Exhilaration and get life cocooned, and you have to be like hyper aware of your limitations defensively defensively, or you're gonna just get squared away by a lot of these classes that do bring a lot of burst damage. But again, still the positives for me really outweigh it. It's definitely a tough gamble for me to try and pick a specialization. I think for myself, just because I got so much free time on my hands, I'm probably going to be playing a lot of everything, whether it be Beast Mastery Hunter or Discipline Priest or Balance Druid or something, or maybe Preservation Evoker. There's a lot to take onto the table. For me, I'm not really an all-in aggro type of guy. It's nice to do it every once in a while. I'm not sure if I would say that I like a much more mixed approach, which is what Balance Druid brings me. I've got good offensive cooldowns, good or offensive crowd control, as well as good defensive crowd control. Whereas with the Beast Mastery Hunter, it feels like it's much more skewed towards offense and a lot less defense. So you need to take that into account if that's the type of gameplay that you're looking for, is whether you want offense or you want defense when you're going with this specialization. But I love all of the new abilities incorporated to it. I feel like I've got more things to think about than just spamming Cobra Shot. It's been a lot of fun with my experience on it so far. I love the mobility of the spec, just being able to switch targets, keep people on their toes, and mash out these massive kill commands when you're able to get them chained together. You got Call the Wild on the right side of the talent tree, which I wasn't really able to make work yet, but it allows you to call in like multiple pets from your stables, and you can just kind of like overwhelm your opponents with a huge army of beasts, which could be fun if it's tuned to do damage into the future, as well as a Dire Beast build towards the left. I was still focused on the kill command down the center because I really liked this build specifically. It felt a lot more burstier and single target focused, which is going to play more into the strengths for Beast Mastery Hunter, at least in an arena environment such as this. I really liked this round of my solo shuffle where I got to play with a Warlock. This actually felt surprisingly fun. While the Warlock was keeping pressure on multiple targets, I could just like pick and choose, like, oh, that guy's out in the open, I'm going to go after them, get my Mortal Wounds effect up, maybe Death Chakram swap over here, Cenarian Wards up, go after this target, kill this one, oh, that guy's low, 10% Ret, 50% Druid, 50% Evoker. Like, their whole team's kind of getting overwhelmed and swarmed, and it kind of reminded me of the Mists of Pandaria days when you could play Warlock Hunter and create pressure like this, and then maybe Freezing Trap a target low, swap off the healer. Like right now, we've got the Resto Druid really low HP. They're going to use Tranquility Shield. We can just switch targets back to the Evoker, keep pressure over there. It was a surprisingly fun combination, which I was not honestly expecting, because Warlock Hunter has just like not existed for some time. So it seems like you're getting a bit more of a diverse range of potential comp options moving forward into Dragonflight, unlike how it kind of has just been pretty much exclusively Feral Druids and Discipline Priests. So I'm very curious to see how it plays out moving forward from this position and moving forward from the tuning phase, because I think a lot of the top performing specializations right now need to kind of be brought down a peg. I don't think making everybody else in the game invincible is a good idea for game balance, or else we're just going to end up with pool noodle gameplay where nobody's hurting each other. I think bringing invincibility down a tone to where you're not able to indefinitely survive is going to be a much better direction for the game when it comes back to the debate of whether or not you should buff or nerf things. I think in this regard, it's better to bring down the level of invincibility on some of the specializations that are currently in the game, so there's always risk versus reward when you're making decisions offensively and defensively, and your positioning always matters. So very important to take into account. But I had a blast with it. If you want high octane, aggressive gameplay with a lot of cool new interactions and combinations of spells that you couldn't previously get, this is definitely the specialization for you. In terms of overall competitiveness, it's probably going to be mid for solo queue, but again, you only compete against yourself, your own specializations in solo queue. You'll only be competing against other Beast Mastery Hunters, so you still be able to get the highest rewards from this ranked PvP mode, but you're probably not going to have as easy of a time as other specializations unless some tuning happens. So it's just something to take into account, but that's pretty much all the intel that I have gathered so far. I do hope that you have enjoyed this video and gotten something out of it. If you have, then do please leave a thumbs up and comment down below with your thoughts. Are you intrigued to check out the Beast Mastery Hunter? What spec is getting most of your attention? I'm going to be putting out these videos for Should You Main on every specialization, so you're going to have all that information here on this channel, as I aim to be a reliable resource for that reason. So thank you once again for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.